Hello, Mr. President Donald Trump. I would like to speak to you, and my voice is the voice of billions in this world. A few days ago, there was news in the media that at your initiative, the US has pulled herself out of Paris Accord for climate change. Mr. President, this accord was signed by 195 countries in 2015 with the clear objective to reduce the carbon emission and control the pollution so that this planet can be saved for the future generations. And the former president, Mr. Barack Obama, had agreed to carry out the terms and conditions of Paris Accord. And 2 years after that, in 2017, after taking over as the president of the most powerful nation, you have made an announcement to withdraw from the Paris Accord. It has shocked millions of people. And let me tell you, Mr. President, that being the president of the most powerful nation, it is your moral responsibility to look at the welfare and well-being of all the people, irrespective of their nations. And the reasons that have been advanced, at least in media, that have made you to take this decision are clumsy ones. That the jobs in the United States would be reduced, that out of this Paris Agreement, countries like India and China are going to be most benefited, and US has to shell out larger financial burden. Mr. President, it is really surprising that if you look historically, the developed nations have exploited the natural resources, and at the cost of the climate, they have achieved development and the high standard of living for their citizens. Whatever has gone is gone. Whatever is begone is begone. But the time has come when we all must show our preparedness to face this global issue of environment degradation. Mr. President, I will again like to bring it to your notice that US has always clamored that it is committed to preserve democracy. It is the watchdog of democracy. Wherever there have been the violations of democratic spirit, it is US to send its troops to restore peace, to restore democratic order, to provide all sort of assistance to the weak political authorities of the nations where they are not able to fight against terrorism or anti-democratic forces, whether it is Afghanistan, whether it is Iraq, or whether it is defiant attitude of North Korea. Everywhere, US has shown her commitment to democracy. It is really surprising, Mr. President, that the commitment to democracy cannot be accepted only in the terms of political democracy, or only you commit yourself to preserve democracy when you feel it is in the interest of Americans or America. This is surely not a democratic attitude. This world has become one. We have become a one global village. Nations are there, but they are more for administrative governance and not to exploit other nations or other people so that the people of your nation should progress. Mr. President, this decision to withdraw from Paris Accord must be looked in from different perceptions. Or in other words, we must look at this decision in the larger context. Imagine the carbon emission all over the world is increasing. The pollution is increasing. The environment is degrading and the temperature all over the globe is rising. Let me ask you, Mr. President, in that case, how you are going to guard your nation, how you are going to save your nation from these pernicious or dangerous effects of environmental degradation. Don't be proud that you will be in a condition to devise or discover a technology which will protect you, which will save your nation from the degradation of the environment. That is not possible. And even if that kind of technology is developed, but that will show the height of selfishness, that will show the height of the self-interest. And we all are looking at US as it is a leader in the terms of the development of the technology and the research. We expect that the Paris Accord must be followed in its letter as well as in its spirit. Mr. Donald Trump, Mr. President, I know that you were born and raised in a family where there was no dearth of resources or the money. You could do whatever you wanted. Are you aware of the billions and the billions of the people who do not have even their bare necessities to be satisfied? They do not have the 2 square meals. They do not have clothes to wear. They do not have the proper shelters to protect themselves from the vagaries of the nation, vagaries of the nature. And therefore, Mr. President, we all must ensure a better earth for the coming generations. Let me tell you a small story from Indian treasures of the wisdom. In India, we have got our mother is a most respectable figure in the family. She cooks and serves food to her children, to her husband, to mother-in-law and to father-in-law. She does not even care whether the food is left for her to eat. In many of the families, she has to cook again to feed herself, and sometimes she has to go to sleep without food in her stomach, but she doesn't regret. She doesn't say that I have the first right to food because I cook it. And therefore, your statement is most shocking, most surprising. You have withdrawn from the agreement saying that it is going to benefit India and China, and you are aware that the 40% of the people today live in India and China. That means you are denying them their better future. And if you are powerful, if you consider yourself to be a fatherly figure or motherly figure of the world, then you must be concerned for others, as mother in Indian home is first concerned about her children, about her husband and other members in the family. And therefore you must learn this piece of wisdom from Indian mother. And I am sure that you are listening to my speech. You have all the resources at your disposal. Your people are looking out all over the world if something is said for or against America or American president. I'm sure that this speech will one day reach your ears, and I'm sure that you will take some time off from your busy schedule and listen to me. I expect you, I want you, I desire you that you should not understand merely my words, but you must understand the message which is hidden in these words. And it is sure to bring about the change of heart in you, and you will rethink your decision, because this is the decision. This is going to adversely impact millions and millions of people, not only of the present, but of the future as well. If at all we have to carve out a better future, better world, then we must address two important issues: the rising global terrorism and the environment degradation, the changes in the climate. And the Paris Accord was one important step in this direction, and the contribution that America was expected to give was only $3 billion out of $100 billion fund that was intended to be created for this purpose. And if you look at this aspect, financial aspect, it is only the 3% financial contribution that the US is expected to make. And Mr. President, you know, if you look at the carbon emission, it is more than 15 or more than 20% that America is doing. So you are polluting the environment up to the level of 15 or 20%, but at the same time you are not ready to contribute just 3% of the total fund that has been proposed to be created for this purpose. Again, this is something that you must rethink, and I am speaking to you as a voice of millions and billions of people who are layman in terms of political power, in terms of economic power, in terms of their scientific understanding. But as a thinker, as a sensitive soul, I cannot endorse your decision to pull out your nation from the Paris Accord. And therefore, I would like to endorse my Honorable Prime Minister's words: whether it is Paris or no Paris, India is committed for the cause of environment. We are committed to uphold all the terms and conditions proposed in the Paris Accord, and we are ready to do anything that will save this earth for the future. I am sure, Mr. President, you are going to listen to my words one day. Thank you very much.